Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me for our technique class. This time we're going to talk about pivots. So the first thing that we should do is warm up a little bit our upper body and lower parts. So let's rotate. Doing some stretching for rotation movement is really helpful for the pivot. So first thing, I'm rotating the upper body and keeping my lower part of the body stable. And then let's add the lower part of the body so we'll see the difference. One more time, only the up, everything together. And then what about only the lower part of the body, so we can isolate the lower part and the upper part. Good, only upper body, only lower part of the body, and everything together. Let's do the same when we have a little bit of gap. Let's see the difference. We have here more freedom and everything together. And the opposite. So my upper body is going to the opposite direction of my lower part of the body, on the pelvis. Okay, good, relax. So we're going to start from pivoting on one foot and the other one is attached to it. So I'm pivoting only on one ball of the foot, the standing leg. I'm starting to one direction, a quarter of a turn. 4 times. And the other foot. Quarter, 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 quarter. One more time. Quarter, 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 quarter. Remember, we only pivot on the ball of the foot. The front part, most of the weight should go towards the center of your foot, so the center of the ball of the foot, towards the big toe and the second toe. Okay, so we're not rolling outside. Okay, when I'm pivoting, I can lift slightly the heels, but not too much. I'm not trying to rotate when I'm on my toes. Okay, let's do half of a turn. So one foot, the other one is attached. I keep the thighs also together, and I'm rotating 180. Trying also the other side. The gaze really helps us. So if I'm looking down while turning, probably it will change my my balance. So I'm trying to keep everything like a long line. I look up and do the pivot. Okay, each exercise you should do a couple of times. Okay, so you can pause and then repeat the routine. Let's go to the next thing. So we're going to take a step forward and then do the pivot. I'm stepping forward and doing a pivot. 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 To the other side. I will start with the forward step and then rotation. Forward step and then rotation. Now, each time when I'm pivoting, I'm sure that you noticed, like we did before with the isolation of the lower part of the body and with the upper part of the body, it's very important to start from the upper part and then add. So I'm not rotating as a block, I'm dividing 2 parts. Upper part of the body rotating and then the lower part of the body. Okay. The second thing that I'm doing that is important is keeping the rotation outside. So each time I'm kind of like pushing the heel forward. So the rotation comes from the hip joint. If I don't do the rotation, it's much harder to finish the pivot. So I finish my ocho or my pivot like this. And that's not a good position. So I want to keep my normal pose, my normal stand like this, either parallel or a little bit open like a small triangle, and whenever somebody's pausing me during the dance, I want to have one of these options. We never want to find ourselves in a position like this, okay? So for sure, when we do the pivot, we make sure that we are rotating, rotating, and rotating. You can see I'm not opening the back leg, I keep it behind me, keep it behind me, keep it behind me. Okay. Let's do something else. Let's go from a side step and we'll move our body towards the direction of the rotation and go back. Towards one side and to the center, towards one side and to the center. Now you can see that I'm doing the pivot on my standing leg, and the other leg, it is rotating, but it's not rotating too much. Otherwise I will find myself in a rotation inside, which is not the best thing. It's not stable. Also, it doesn't look so elegant. So I try to keep the other thigh very much engaged. So I don't let the small toe touch the floor. I try to face with the heel towards the ceiling. Okay. So doing this a couple of times. And then afterwards, we can add a small turn. So we do the side step, we do the pivot and collect. Do the side step, pivot and collect. I am bending slightly my leg, so I will finish the rotation nicely. If I don't bend my leg, then it feels a little bit too rigid. Okay, it's harder also to stop. So I do the side step, I rotate and I close. Do the side step, bend slightly, close. The other side, side step, rotating and closing. Side step, rotating and closing. One more time. Side step, rotating, closing. Side step, rotating and closing. Now, one of the best practices for pivot is doing ochos. Before we do the ochos, we can work on the connecting point. So, from a back to a forward, from a back to a forward. Okay, so I'm relaxing a little bit behind my standing knee. I relax slightly each time, and then I stretch. Okay, you can see that I'm moving my knee. Let's do the other side. The other leg forward. So rotating and going, rotating and going. What is the engine? So from where do we get the energy? Definitely I'm using my upper body like we saw before. So I have one leg forward, I start rotating the upper body, I send my leg and then I rotate it to the other direction. So it will give me the energy to go back. One direction and the other direction. If you can, try to move as less as possible the hands. If I move them a lot, then probably it will be harder for me to stop and to have balance. So I'm trying to keep the elbows and the palms in front of me. And of course there is some movement, but it's not huge. Okay, we did both sides. So let's check our ocho. We go forward, we do the pivot, and we slide to the next one. Forward to the back. Okay. A few tips for the ocho. So remember, we're trying to move slightly our axis while sending the leg and then moving our weight. The weight should move completely for us to be able to do the pivot. If we don't move the weight, we're stuck in the middle. So make sure that you're moving your weight and going to the next step. The same when we're going back. If I don't move the whole weight, I'm stuck. So I need to move my pelvis and the head on top of the new standing leg so I can continue with the turn. There's another video on my channel for ochos, so please check it out. It's under technique for ladies, but of course for us guys it's very important. The ochos are fundamentals for all our dance, okay? Thank you very much for joining me today, and if you would like to see other videos, please subscribe to my channel. Bye, have a nice day.